Hi yogis, my name's Nicole and welcome to my home. Um, so today we're going to do a class called Shut Up and Breathe, which is a signature class from the Woods Yoga. And if you've never taken Shut Up and Breathe, definitely do this one. Come to class when we reopen. And Shut Up and Breathe is a lovely, lovely class, and I oftentimes hear people say after, oh my god, I wish I could just sleep in the studio all night and never ever want to get up and leave. So you're in your home now, so you don't have to. So I actually would recommend maybe setting up your mat either in your bedroom or just somewhere kind of near it so that you can just crawl into bed when we are done. And another like kind of nice fun thing you could do after this class, so after getting out some movement, would be to try a meditation, a yoga nidra, if that's something that you're interested to. Like if it's not nighttime but you need to zen for a moment, then that's a nice way you can do it. So those are just some options. And this is class that we're going to go through today is something that I've taught kind of variations of before in the studio. And the reason why is it's just my favorite, right? It's that one where we're going to target the full body. We're going to really get into the hips for sure. And yeah, so we're going to get started. However, one quick thing is we're going to use a couple of optional props today. So one thing that I would recommend is a strap. And so if you don't have a yoga strap at home, you can use a belt, right? Instead, you can use a scarf, or if you wear a bathrobe at home and it has the, the straps that go around and you tie, those are really perfect too. So finding just whatever you have, and if you don't have anything, don't worry about it. It's just optional. We also have 2 optional blocks over here as well. So if you don't have blocks but you want some kind of support, something that you can do is take a couple books, like maybe 4 books that are, almost even in size, and that would be perfect, or again, it's optional, okay? So we're going to get started on our backs today, and we're going to allow yourself to just ease down onto the mat. So giving yourself a little space to ease down, and we'll bring the soles of the feet to touch and let the knees fall wide. And so here, if you're noticing that it's like really intense on the inner legs especially, we can take those blocks or books, or even you could take 2 pillows and maybe fold them in half and just kind of stick them underneath your the sides of your legs, and it gives it a little bit more of a restful feel, right? We're gonna I like to take anyways, my right hand on my low belly and my left hand on my heart, with the elbows resting into the mat. Another option that you could take is extending the arms over above your head, maybe letting the hands rest on top of each other, grabbing opposite elbows, or just extending the arms up if you have the space. So finding somewhere that is comfortable for you. And when you choose that space, really settle in. Noticing where there's some heaviness, where your body's contacting the earth. And we'll start off today with just 2 big clearing breaths. So as you breathe in, take a big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh. One more, inhale. Returning to the normal breath, finding your rhythm, the natural rhythm. And after those 2 big breaths, notice if there's anywhere that you notice like, ooh, it was kind of tight in there, it's hard to breathe, you want to adjust, right? Take those little movements, those little adjustments now. An adjustment I really like is to press into the elbows, puff up my heart, tuck my shoulder blades underneath the back, and then gently rest it all down. So just a couple options. Wiggle out where you need to wiggle out, right? Make sure you're finding space in the back of the neck. And breathing here. Taking a moment for a nice full body scan. So we'll begin with the top of the head. Scanning down to the tips of the toes, and we're really just looking for places of tension, places where it feels like you are holding on so tight, right? And it could be just physical sensation, like maybe you had an injury or just a space like it slept weird, right? But sometimes it's also a little bit linked to our emotions. So noticing it all, right? Noticing your entire self. the quality of the thoughts, right? Noticing if the thoughts feel really calm, zen, or if they're kind of sporadic and crazy right now, somewhere in between, just notice. Noticing the quality of your breath, right? If you're breathing slow and deep still, or if it's a little bit more shallow and rapid. Without judging it, just really noticing it, right? So just letting yourself feel into what is now. Letting go of the rest of your day, what's to come next, and just centering into noticing what is moving through you here and now. Giving yourself about 5 to 7 more full deep breaths here. Begin to let the back of your head just gently rock from side to side. Letting your ear roll towards the floor, getting a stretch in the opposite side of the neck. So here as the left ear comes towards the left shoulder, we roll the right shoulder down towards the mat and switch. And you feel complete slowing it down, and take your hands to the sides of your legs and start to gently guide them up and move. If you had any props under the thighs, we'll just move them off to the side. And take a moment let the hands come back to the belly, to the heart, and bring your feet as wide as your mat. Let the knees fall in together. Noticing this hip joint, right? The place where your leg is connecting, is attaching to your body. And just kind of feel, after having the knees open for a while, what it's like here. Another breath into those hip joints. And as you exhale, start to pull the knees into the chest. And we'll start with just a little gentle rock. A sway side to side. Maybe you stay with this, or you start to add circles one direction and circling the other way. Yeah, really checking and feeling into that low back. Nice. And then we'll bring right hand to right shin, left hand to left shin. Pull the knees into the chest and then wider than your ribs, right? Pulling the shins away, the feet away, the knees away. Just find that gentle rock, right? Really noticing the low back on each side, right? Really let yourself feel the parts of your body individually and together as a whole. We'll start to pull that right knee to center. Take the left hand on top of the right shin, and the left leg can extend long down your mat, or you can bring the sole of the foot to the earth, right? If it feels like it's hard to keep the heel rested, it's not very restful with that leg straight, definitely keep the bend, right? Find that little rock of just the right leg now. So isolating this right hip, really noticing just what it's like right here. Some circles and sways, it's all good. Anything that you want to do to explore that hip joint. And then from here, we're going to start to use the strap. So if you don't have a strap, no worries. We're just going to interlace our hands behind this right leg. If you do have the strap and you want to use it, you can unwind it here. So if you have a strap, a belt, anything that has metal on the end, I like to recommend holding onto that, right? Sometimes you'll sway it and it might catch you in the face, right? So wrap the strap around the ball mound of your foot. And no need to straighten that leg right away, right? We can keep a nice bend, but we do want to start to flex the foot. So the strap is going to come closer to the toes than to the arch, right on the ball mound. Yeah. Just start to find a gentle little sway. You know, a little circle might feel good. Moving the leg. So again, we don't need to straighten it, but if you feel like you want to start trying to kind of bend and re-straighten, that can feel lovely here. Just don't go too far yet, right? We can straighten the leg and the foot can kind of press away from us, right? It doesn't have to go right straight up to the sky right away. So give yourself time, space, really feeling into the hamstring, the back of the legs. Good, and we'll start to bring the leg towards up to the sky. So like you're stepping your foot onto the ceiling. So again here, the knee can be really bent. Also, you can bend this left knee. It makes it a little bit easier. So find where it feels good for you. And then as you take a breath in, start to really flex the foot, lift the heel. Yeah, good. Exhale, pull the toes down towards you. Yeah, inhale, point the toe. Press the ball mound into the strap. And exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale, yeah. Letting yourself move with your breath as you breathe in, point. Exhale, flex. Nice. And then we're going to take both of those straps over into the right hand. So really get a nice good grip. Start to T or cactus the left arm to the left. Take a big breath and lift up through the heel, and then as you exhale, start to gently allow this right leg to fall to the right. And here you might gaze over to the left, right, gazing to your left hand. The nice thing about videos is that you can pause it. So if you're finding that your leg can't go far enough to the right, pause the video, move your mat over, and be here, right? We want to be able to get this leg as far to the right as it needs to go. Make sure that you're not hyperextending the knee here though, right? So that's a tendency that I have in my body, is to really like extend the leg, but keep a little micro bend. Taking a big breath in, big breath out. Good. On your next inhale, use the resistance of the strap and the breath in to lift the leg back up. And find those little sways again, right? More circles. Do you notice more opening in that inner leg? Maybe it feels really tight today. That's all good. Just feel it, notice it, and be honest with yourself, right? Really, no one at all is watching you right now, so let yourself go here. Yeah, it feels good to sometimes find that rock front to back too. Really like pulling the leg in, maybe even both knees bend a little bit, and then straightening it back up, pressing it away, right? So feeling what feels good, testing it out. And from here, we'll take both straps over into this left hand. So the right arm now tees or cactuses out to the right. Take a big breath and lift through the heel. Exhale. The foot, the leg falls to the left, and you might keep your gaze up towards the sky. You might look over to the right, but don't go too deep in this twist yet, right? So we want to really allow here for yourself to ease into your practice. So keep the resistance of the strap, right? That's what's really keeping the leg from just flopping in, right? We want to keep this holding the strap, and just notice the sensation on the outer hip, right? All down the outer right leg. Yeah. What is it like to breathe in your twist? On your next breath in, use the inhale, the resistance of the strap to get that leg back to center. And we'll take any final movements on this side, right? Whatever you really enjoyed before, really give yourself space to play here. Nice. And then we'll remove the strap, put it off to the side for now. We're not going right to the other side. And then we'll just let that right leg extend long. And for me, I notice my right leg feels like it's inches longer than my left. So we're going to take a pose called Banana Asana here before going to the left side. So we'll extend the arms up overhead and start, excuse me, to bring the left foot towards the left corner of your mat. So the leg stays extended out long, right? Just the heel comes to the corner of the mat. And then we'll take this right leg and cross the ankles. Yeah. So we're coming to the shape of a banana. So as we inhale, we'll start to lift the head, lift the arms, and then reach the upper body, the shoulders, the arms over to the left, right? So we're, again, making the shape of a banana. So a nice big right side body stretch. Let the arms, make sure your arms are relaxing into the mat, right? We don't need to have the arms lifted above the head. Just let it relax, even if that means bent arms. So check it out, feel into your body, and breathe. When I take a big breath in here, it's like all my breath wants to fill the right lungs, which is great, and feel that. And then notice if you can find a little space, a little breath into the left side. Yeah. And maybe it feels challenging and you have to wiggle a little. That's great too. Notice if as you exhale you can melt a little bit more into the earth. Okay, and we'll come back through center. Stretch the legs, stretch the hands, and then just take little circles of the ankles, circles of the wrists, yeah. And then start to pull this left knee in towards the chest. So again, if this is feeling like it's still a little tight in the back of your right leg, sole of the foot comes to the mat. And so here we'll take that little rock from side to side to start. Maybe some circles, just really isolating the left hip joint, feeling into that space. Nice. And then again, if you don't have the strap, the hands will come behind the leg, right? And if you do have the strap, we'll just take that now and wrap it around the ball of the foot, right? So bringing the strap closer to the toes than it is to the arch of the foot. And again, the leg doesn't have to be straight right now. So just where are you at now in your practice, right? And take a little bit of movement. So it helps, this dynamic movement really can be helpful to ease our way into poses, right? Preventing any injuries, easing in so we don't overstretch and then it's like, oh god, tomorrow I can't walk, right? We don't want that. So ease on in, right? The bends and the straightens can feel nice, the sways, right? What you liked on the other side, I always recommend trying on this side, but with no expectations. So just because it felt good on the right leg doesn't always mean it feels good on the left. And notice that, right? Notice for yourself what you're enjoying. But you're kind of feeling like, ooh, this is too much, right? If it's too much, we just bend this the right leg this time, yeah. Nice. And then again, we'll start to bring both straps over into the left hand. So our right arm tees or cactuses out to the right. Take a breath in. Start to lift up through the heel. And I actually forgot one part. So we're going to bring that right hand back onto the strap. Nice. And if you take classes with me, you know that I often do this in real life too. So here we're going to start to flex and straighten the foot. So as we take a breath in, start to really flex, lift the heel up. As you exhale, start to really press the toes down. Yeah. Feel that flex. And then as you inhale, point the foot. Feel the stretch in your shin, your calf. Good. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale. Inhale. And breathe out. Last time, breathe in. Exhale, flex. Keep that foot flexed. We'll bring the straps into our left hand. Right arm will to your cactus to the right. Take a breath in, lift through the heel. Exhale, let that foot fall to the left. And again, don't let it go further than it feels okay, right? This is a big stretch on the inner leg. So I like to turn my head and gaze to the right away from the foot here. It helps to ground this left hip or right hip down a little bit more. And so breathe. Feel yourself being here and make sure that you are still flexing the left foot. Here we'll start to use the resistance of the strap and the inhale to lift the leg back to center. Yeah, and then again, finding a little movement, right? Those bends, the sways. Maybe again, you kind of rock the leg forward and back, really pulling it in, really letting it go. And again, you might even find a little bend in both legs as you really pull it in, and then let it go. Right? Feeling what feels good in your body and sticking with those movements. Never being afraid to try out some other ones too. Cool. So from here, both of those straps are coming now into the right hand. The left hand tees or cactuses out to the left. Take a big breath and lift through the heel, flex the toes. Exhale for our twist. Letting the left leg fall to the right. And maybe gazing to the left. So keep that foot flexed, right? We're still pulling here. Breathing into the twist. Breathing into this entire outer left leg, the outer left hip. Noticing where you're twisting from in your core, right? Feeling that space. Breathe there. As you inhale, use the resistance to lift the leg back to center. And taking any final movements on this side. Really getting those hamstrings to open up. Nice. And then we'll again let the strap go. You can just put it off to the side for now. And we'll extend the legs long. Lift the arms up and just feel the legs, right? For me, feels so good to have both legs really stretched out. And we'll take Banana Asana to the right. So legs stay straight. And we bring the right foot to the right corner of the mat. Left ankle crosses over the right. As you breathe in, lift the head, the shoulders, the arms, and start to pull the right arm to the right. The left arm follows. And then let everything settle down. So feeling the breath again, noticing where it's going into. So Banana Asana is actually a yin posture, but I love teaching it. It's a really, really nice one to get this big full body stretch. And so if you're noticing you're only breathing into your right side, see if you can find a little bit of breath, manipulating the breath to fill the right lungs as well. And start to come back through center, stretching out the hands, the toes, roll the ankles, the wrists, right? I like to kind of scrunch the fingers after holding the strap. They feel like, ooh, a little tight. Beautiful. And then from here, we'll just start to pull the soles of the feet to the mat. And separate your feet as wide as the mat. Tee or cactus the arms. And just give yourself a little windshield from side to side. Nice. And then from here, we're going to just start to roll over onto our favorite side for fetal pose. Taking a little break, a little rest. As you take a breath in, start to press down into the hands and gently press yourself up to a seat. Hello, yogis, again. And so here, we're going to come into some seated postures. So I like to sit on the edge of a blanket. So I don't sit directly on top of it. I take a blanket, fold it up a little bit. You can sit on the end of a folded up pillow as well. And I just kind of sit on the very, very edge, like just the flesh of the bone, right? And so coming to a seat that's comfortable. So if cross-legged doesn't feel comfortable on your body, we don't have to be here. I say this in all of my classes. But I think it's really important to know that it's not so easy to just sit cross-legged in a lot of bodies, right? We have a lot of tightness and we're all getting there. But if it doesn't feel good today, we can sit with the soles of the feet to touch the knees wide. We can sit with the legs extended out, or Virasana, hero's pose, where you sit on your shins, right? So that's another nice one. So finding a place to set up that feels good in your body. And we'll take our arms and bring them out to the side, rolling palms forward. And just take a moment to lift the shoulders to the ears as you exhale, shrug them down and back. Yeah. And then see if you're lined up, right? So we want to line up our hips, our shoulders, right? Lifting through the crown of the head. Slight tuck of the chin. So we're lifting through where a soft spot on a baby would be, that very, very top of the head. It's like there's a string there lifting you up. And the arms soften, the shoulders soften. Good. Let your palms face forward. Take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, let the right ear melt to the right shoulder. Breathing into the left side of the neck. And as we exhale, we'll slowly start to let the chin fall to the right side of the chest, right? So we're not coming right to center just yet, just kind of feeling, right? Where do you notice sensation here? So as you move your arms, you'll notice that the sensation might slightly change. So find a spot where you're like, yeah, that's what I've been waiting for, right? And just pause. Good, and as you exhale, start to let the chin slowly make its way to center, right? So giving yourself a lot of space, slowing it down to really feel all those little neck muscles, all those little connections. When the chin finally gets to the center of the chest, just feel the back of your neck, right? I can feel this all the way down into my mid-back, so see if that's the case for you. Take a big breath in and out. As you exhale here, we'll start to lift the head, slowly rolling it all the way up. Nice. Inhale, lift through the crown again. Exhale, left ear to the left shoulder. Yeah, and so again, checking out the right side of the neck. And here, if you notice that it feels like this left ear is creeping up, or the shoulder's creeping up to the ear, just remember that we want it to be like the ear's chasing the shoulder, right? So the shoulder's running away and the ear's chasing it down. Yeah, so softening, settling the shoulders down. Really letting yourself feel this stretch. So we also don't want this shoulder lifting, right? We're not going to get as good of a stretch if our right shoulder starts to creep up. So let it hang and breathe. If it's too intense, lift up a little, right? Good. As we exhale, we'll start to let the left, or the chin, come to the left side of the chest. Right? Really feeling that back right side of the neck. Noticing what it's like. Noticing what it feels like to breathe into that space. So as you inhale, imagining that tense, tight space is filling with air. And as you exhale, imagine some of that tension leaves with the breath. And we'll super slowly let the chin circle down to the center. So again here, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chin, or the chest to the chin, dropping the chin to the chest, and noticing where you feel the sensation. We'll take a moment here to nod the head yes, with the chin at the chest, and shake the head no. Beautiful. From here, one full circle each direction. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. The head circles slowly back and around. Chin comes back to the center. And we switch directions. Left ear, left shoulder, head circles back and around. Nice. On an inhale, we'll start to lift the head. Bring your hands to your lap. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, circle them down your back. Nice. I'm going to do a little bit more twisting. So for these sleepy time classes, I love to do a lot of twisting and folding. It tends to be what really helps people relax into that nice deep sleep. So here, as we inhale, we'll start to sweep the arms up to the sky. And as we exhale, we're twisting to the right. So our left hand will come to the right knee. The right hand will plant behind you, pretty close into the body, right? Inhale, lift through the very crown of your head. Exhale, turn, maybe start to gaze back past the shoulder, right? Only twisting as deep as you can. The lift is more important. So if you start to feel like you're leaning way back in your twist, then use the hand as a kickstand to prop you up nice and tall. Let the belly expand, the chest expand. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Arms lift, gaze lifts. And exhale, we'll twist to the left. Right hand to the left knee. Left hand plants behind you. Again, pretty close in to keep the spine tall. On an inhale, lift through the crown. Exhale, twist. So notice here if the ears are coming, or the shoulders are coming to the ears, right? And if that's happening, see if you can just soften the twist, right? We don't have to be in a super deep twist here. It can be gentle. And those ears, as long as there's space between ears and shoulders. So if you do want to twist a little deeper, use the breath in to find length. The exhale to twist. Inhale, come back to center, lift the arms, the gaze. Exhale, hands down to center. Good job. We're going to do some side body movement now. So again, linking our breath to movement here is going to be really important. So on a breath in, we'll start to sweep the arms up. Exhale, the right hand comes to the earth. The left arm lifts up. Maybe you gaze up past your left elbow. Inhale, center. Exhale, side bend. So let the shoulders, both shoulders, move away from the ears here, right? Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we bend. So again, notice if this ear is at the shoulder, the ear and shoulder are touching, find space. Right? Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. And again, if this ear is coming up, right? Again, find space. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. We're going to hold this one for a couple of breaths. So allow here for this left sit bone to really ground down, right? Maybe you're gazing up, breathing, filling into the lungs. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the other side for a longer hold. So ground, use the hand, pressing into this hand to really make sure that this sit bone isn't popping up, right? We want to keep it down. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, hands to the heart. So we're going to start some seated forward folds. And so for this, we're going to take the soles of our feet together to touch. And so I like to grab onto my ankles here. Again, another thing just to mention is you don't have to have your feet super close into your body. Right? They can be kind of far away. And you can hold onto your shins here to lift the heart tall. You can also pull the feet in a little closer and grab the ankles, which is what I tend to like to do. You can also grab the inner arches of your feet or wrap your peace fingers around your big toes if you're not wearing socks like I am. So we'll grab onto wherever you want to grab onto. And use that hold to kind of lift the spine, roll the shoulders back, and press the heart forward. Yeah, lifting through the crown of the head. Take a big breath in. And exhale, fold forward. So we want to stretch our heart past our toes, right? Imagine that it's going to land out past the toes. And then when you get to a place and you're like, ooh, this is it, we'll tuck the chin. Let the forehead melt towards the toes. I like to gently press my elbows into my inner legs, but some days when it's really tight there, I don't like to do that. So again, this is our second time in a Baddha Konasana shape. So If you are feeling ready for it, you can do that. If you're still feeling really tight, you can still take your blocks or books underneath the knees and then find that bend here. So again, lifting, finding the length, and then curling. So you can make this pose dynamic as well if you want to. So some people here love to just rest and be in stillness. Some people, as you inhale, you might want to lift the heart. Exhale, fold in, right? Inhale, little lift. Exhale, fold. And again, just options. So everything here is, as always, super optional. Finding what feels good for you. Good, and a breath in, we'll start to slowly, gently press up. And similar to how we began class in Baddha Konasana and then some hamstring work, we're going to do that again here. So extending the legs out long in front of you. And here, we don't have to have the soles of the feet, or the feet touching and the legs together, legs straight, right? This is an option. This is a good option to get a nice big stretch on my hamstrings, which we've already opened up a bit. So if that's something that feels like it's calling you, take it. Otherwise, we can separate the feet a little bit, put a little bend in the knees, maybe a big bend, right? Find a spot where it feels good for you. As we inhale, start to lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, leading with your heart, like your heart's going to touch your toes, come forward, right? When you get to that space of length and then you're like, this is as far as I go, at this point, tuck the chin, let the spine round, right? So we find length and then we find the rounding. You might find that dynamic movement again here as well. So inhale, finding a little bit of the length, and exhaling, softening in. On our next inhale, we're softly, slowly, mindfully lifting to a seat. Beautiful. From here, coming into our tabletop pose. So, getting there however you want to get there, and we'll move any props that you might have around you, moving them off to the side. And then come to all fours. So stacking the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, and kind of like look back, check it out, right? Sometimes we think we're in a different place than we are. So let all 10 fingers spread out wide. Yeah, and start to lift the low belly, right? Feeling that little lift of the low belly. Nice. Untuck the toes. Let the tops of the feet rest. Good. And then we'll move through some cat-cows. On a breath in, let the belly drop. The shoulders roll back. The heart lifts. Tail lifts. Gaze lifts. Exhale, chin to chest. Cat pose. Inhale, coming back through cow. Exhale, cat, and moving with your breath as you exhale, finding space between the collarbones. Inhale, actually between the shoulder blades. Inhale, finding space between the collarbones. Yeah. Moving with your breath at your pace. Exhales are cat. Inhales are cow. You might find a little bit of organic movement for our last 5 or so rounds. Let the eyes close. Let your body move how it wants to, right? And we'll take one more cat back after this one, right? Take another one. And then use your inhale to come back to a neutral spine. Nice. So from here, we're just going to start to tuck the toes. And then let your hips sink back towards the heels. Right? So we're setting up for downward facing dog. So here, I like to really spread the hands out. Make sure you're kind of centered on your mat. Yeah, and then allow here for your ears to come by your upper arms. And we'll take a big breath in, fill up. Exhale, lift the hips, use your core, and find your way into our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So it's cool to have really bent knees here. It's nice to walk your dog, pedaling, bending one knee and then the other if that feels good. A little sway of the hips. We'll take another clearing breath here. So inhale, breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. So really spread the fingers out. Press the sit bones up. Press your heart to your thighs. Lift the kneecaps. One more breath in. Good, and from here we're gonna come right to upward facing dog. So we're gonna skip plank, we're gonna skip all of the chaturanga, and we're just going to start to let the toes slide back a little and let the hips slide towards the hands. Roll the shoulders back, untuck the toes. Yeah, and just kind of feel this upward facing dog, this back bend. Really letting the shoulders peel back and around, lifting through the heart, through the crown of the head. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, turn just your head to gaze to the right. Inhale, gaze center. Exhale, gaze to the left. Press down into your first finger and thumb especially here. Come back to center. Good, as you exhale, softly lower all the way down to your belly. On. So just feeling what it's like to be here. And again, keeping the toes nice and untucked. Bring your hands by your side. Elbows in tight. Press into the tops of the feet. Press down into your pelvis. And as you inhale, we'll come into a cobra. Yeah, feeling this back bend. Exhale, soften. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. And inhale. Good. Exhale, come back down onto your belly and just rest on one cheek. Tee your arms out to the side and just kind of notice what it felt like in your spine in the upward dog, what it felt like in the cobra. Nice. So from here we're going to take a shoulder stretch, fallen angel pose. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our left hand and bring it underneath our left shoulder. Bend the left knee. Yeah, and so I'm going to scooch over this way. I am not quite sure where I'm being recorded at right now, so I just want to make sure I'm in the picture. So we'll, from here, start to ground down into this left hand, right? And as you take a breath in, fill up. As you take a breath out, press into the left hand and send the left foot to the outside of the right leg. Let your head rest onto the mat. Yeah, and feeling into the shoulder. So it's really important that your right hand is in line with your right shoulder, right? If it's the arms bent, it doesn't usually feel as quite as good. And so here, option to keep this hand, the left hand on the earth for support, or you can sweep it around your low back to make the wing in our fallen angel. And we'll just take 3 deep breaths here. Nice, coming back. After your 3 breaths, take your time coming back to your belly. Tee the arms out, rest on the opposite cheek, and just take a moment to absorb that into the shoulder, right? Beautiful. We'll take our right hand and bring the right hand underneath the right shoulder. Scooch in again. And from here, we'll start to bend into the knee. Right? Take a big breath in, fill up. Exhale, press into the right hand and send the right foot behind the left leg. Okay, this right hand can always stay here for support, or it can sweep behind the low back. Yeah, and again, keep the left hand in line with the left shoulder, or close to it, right? It feels better as a stretch. And then see where you're kind of resisting, right? Where you're holding back a little bit, and notice if as you exhale, you can just relax a little deeper. And we'll make our way back into the belly. And just take a little pause here, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck your toes. As you inhale, we'll start to press into our tabletop pose again. Nice. And so from here, we're going to come into a low lunge. So we'll take our blocks or books, right? Anything that you have, or you can just use your hands on the mat as well. And so from here, we're just going to step our right foot forward. And so typically what happens is, I'll do this facing you guys. And so typically what happens here for a lot of people is that we find that the hip is right over the knee. And that's cool if that feels good for you, but a lot of times I find that having the hip right over the knee is a lot of pressure on the kneecap. So there's a couple of things we can do. One is we can definitely pad the knee with a blanket, right? The other thing that we can do here is to press down into the left toes, lift the foot, slide the leg back, and then rest more on the front of the kneecap, right? So you're getting more of a stretch through this front hip. It's not always accessible, which is why then padding the knee can sometimes be a great alternative. But it feels usually better in my experience to set that knee behind the hip. And then this front knee we got to check out too. So we want to make sure that this front knee isn't going past the ankle, right? So if as you lean as far forward as your hips are allowing, is your knee going past your ankle? If it is, wiggle the front toes forward. Nice. And we're just going to take a little bounce, right? A little tiny bounce of the hips, like almost you can barely even see it, right? Yeah, see if you can lift your heart up a little taller, roll the shoulders back a little bit more, and just finding this gentle bounce in and out, right? Another important piece here is to make sure that your right foot's to the right and your left knee is to the left. If we're more on a tightrope, this is not feeling quite as good. So we want to make sure that the foot is over, right? We have space. Yeah. Creating space. Good. And so we're going to take this little pulse a little bit further. And so we're going to start to rock the hips back, flex this foot, settling into a half split. Inhale, we roll forward. Exhale, press back, half split variation. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, pressing back. Right, we'll do two more, and the last one will hold. Inhale. Exhale. And we'll hold this one. So allow yourself here to find maybe like a little bit of that halfway lift, right? Lifting the heart, finding space. And then as you exhale, melting in with length until you're like, oh my God, I feel it. And then tuck the chin to the chest. Taking some breaths here, right? I like to kind of let my hips sway a little from side to side. Again, make sure that you're not hyperextending this right knee. It's another one of my tendencies here. So keep a little micro bend in the leg. And if finding that little sway of the hips from side to side feels good for you like it does for me, take that little movement. Nice. And then from here we're going to come to a side body stretch. So we'll keep this leg, this right leg straight, and we're going to start to come bringing the right big toe towards the mat. So we'll take the right hand and bring it to the inside of that right leg, right? So now we're kind of forward. And then the left foot is going to come behind the knee, right? Coming to gate pose. So the left hand will come next to the knee. It can be on a block or on the mat. And then as you inhale, sweep the right arm to the sky, right? Maybe you bring the arm over by your ear, noticing what it feels like to breathe here. Good, we're going to keep the legs exactly how they are, and from here we're going to take a forward stretch. So keeping the legs, we'll swing, circling this right hand down, and then you might rest your forearms onto blocks, right? You can rest, you can extend your arms out in front of you and move the blocks out of the way if that feels good, right? It's kind of letting the hips stay over the knees and the heart melt. As we inhale, we'll start to press back up. Nice. And then we're just going to take either the blocks or your hands and we'll walk back so that our hands are now on the inside of this right leg. Start to bring the sole of the right foot towards the floor. finding maybe those blocks again. And we're going to move towards lizard pose. So we'll start to walk our right foot to the right, pointing the toes towards the right. Again, notice if the knee crept back up underneath the hip, and you might slide the knee a little bit further back. Yeah, and then you might even roll into the pinky toe of the foot. So finding a little sway in the hips. Good, and then option 2, lower. So you might stay here, this might feel good. You might just move the blocks, right? And see what that's like to come a little closer. Maybe you take the blocks stacked up and bring your forearms down, right? You can also bring your forearms all the way down to the floor here. And again, I like to find that little sway, the little rock of the hips from side to side. And then as we inhale, we'll start to press up onto the hands. Nice. So again, you can have your blocks here if you like. And we'll start to heel toe this right foot all the way over to the left. And we're coming into, you guessed it, pigeon. So we can start here to allow for the hips to sink down towards the mat. And so you can stick a block underneath this right hip if that's helpful to you. A blanket, a pillow, right? Whatever you got can work really nicely here. And I'm going to turn onto the mat because this is no longer working. I don't know how much space I have. Cool. So lifting up nice and tall, start to kind of walk your hands back towards the hips and just lift up, right? Settle down. And as you exhale, start to come forward, right? Allowing yourself to really start to melt into pigeon. Let your glutes relax, your low back relax. Let your bottom jaw melt away from the top and soften. Right, so you can always use props here. You can have support underneath your forearms if that feels helpful. Maybe you have support underneath your forehead. Right? We can always set up to find a way that really works for us. I'll take 3 more breaths here. On an inhale, we'll start to slowly lift back up. Good. And then if you have any props underneath that right sit bone, slide it away. And just start to relax the sit bone down and swing that back leg forward. Right? So we're coming into a nice fold here. We'll take a big breath and stretch the arms to the sky. And then as we exhale, we'll start to allow the left hand to come either on top of the thigh or to the inside of the leg. And lift that right arm up and over. Right, so having the forearm on the thigh is helpful because it gives a little bit more space, right? We can find a little bit more space between the ears and the shoulders, a more leverage to turn the left rib cage up. And as we exhale, we'll fold forward, right, between the legs. So you can have hands on blocks here if that's helpful. Right, you can let the chin tuck. You can come down as low as you want, right? Using a block for the head if that feels good. As you inhale, we'll slowly, gently press back up. Good. And we're going to the other side. So from here, swinging the legs back, taking the blocks. And we'll start to, this time, step the left foot forward. And again, adjusting the knee so that right knee will be further back. Yeah. And then finding this nice little sway, right? It's just gentle kind of pulse in and out. Noticing if this left foot needs to wiggle forward, wiggling it forward. Nice. time, we'll start to take that a little bit further now. So as we exhale, we'll start to press the hips back, straighten the legs, tuck the chin. Inhale, rocking forward, lifting the heart, maybe the gaze. Exhale back, right? Linking our breath to our movement. Let the eyes close. Just let yourself feel the sensations of your body. This time we'll rock back and pause, right, in these half splits. And maybe you find a little sway. Let the chin tuck and just feeling yourself, right? Feeling all of these sensations, the physical ones, the emotional ones, all of it, right? Soaking it in. Sensation of breath. Good. Nice. And then from here we'll find that little halfway lift, and we're coming to gate pose on the other side. So this left big toe makes its way towards the floor. Take the left hand to the inside of the left leg. Start to turn. Take your right foot and line it up behind the right knee. The right hand can come to a block or the mat. And we'll press it down next to the leg. And then inhale, lift the left arm up to the sky, maybe over the ear. Lift the hips. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, we'll start to come forward. So our hips are going to stay over the knees, and we'll start to stretch forward. So you can use props here, right? Or you can come in as deeply as you'd like. So just feeling into the body, noticing where your body might be in space, right? So even if your hips aren't right over the knees, that's okay. Just kind of feel it, right? Check it out. Where does it feel best to put your hips? And an inhale, we'll start to press up, lifting up onto the hands. And then starting to come back forward towards the foot. So that now the hands are on the inside of this leg and we're in lizard pose. And I'm going to come do this way. Nice. So again, using the blocks or books under your hands is lovely. You can start to walk heel toe the left foot to the left, point the toes to the left. Maybe you roll to the left pinky toe side of the foot. So this side tends to be a little tighter for me. I was mirroring you guys, so this is actually my right side, and my right side is usually a little tighter in my hips. So you might use a little bit more or less support on this side than you did on the other side. It's totally normal and okay, so take what you need. And then maybe again a little rock from side to side, right? All of our movements, we don't have to be so still. We can find a little bit of movement, a little rock. Nice. And then as you breathe in, press back up onto your hands. Yeah, and we're just going to heel toe the left foot over to the right wrist and settle the leg down. So again, you might take a block, a blanket, some kind of prop underneath this hip here. Right? It's totally cool to do that. And we'll start to really sit up tall, lifting the heart. Right, feeling this big length in the spine. And then as you exhale, start to sink it in. Right, slowing it down. Seeing if you can find a nice place to really settle. So maybe, again, usually my right hip tends to be tighter than my left. So sometimes I need a little bit of a lift, a little bit of some help, some props, right? A block under the forehead can be lovely, or something else that you need, and just letting go. Taking 3 more breaths. And your next breath in, start to press back up onto the hands. If you have any props, leg them away. Drop the sit bone down and then swing that back leg forward. Right, so finding our way again to a nice fold. So this time folding towards the right leg. We'll inhale the arms to the sky. And as you exhale, this right arm might come on top of the thigh, which is what I usually recommend for most people. Or you can bring your forearm to the inner leg, the floor. And we'll press down into that forearm. Start to kind of turn so that you're stacking this left shoulder over the right and then stretching the arm up. And wherever you are, make sure you can breathe. If your forearm's on the earth and you're like, I can't breathe in my right side body, bring it onto the thigh, right? It's really important to be able to take full deep breaths, right? Be where you need to be. As we exhale, we'll start to fold forward. So again, you can use props. You can just come right on down and allowing yourself to settle. As we inhale, we'll start to slowly press back to a seat. Nice, and from here we're just coming back to our backs. So we'll start to gently relax all the way down, hugging the knees in, finding a little sway from side to side. Nice, and we'll take one final twist to each side here. So allow yourself to tee the left arm to the left as you exhale. Let both knees fall to the right. You can gaze over to the left, relaxing into the twist. Okay, we'll inhale the knees back to center. And exhale both knees to the left, gazing to the right. And then we'll inhale to center. Once again, bringing the right hand to the right shin, the left hand to the left shin. You can pull your knees again nice and wide and find that little rock from side to side. And then if you're ready for a happy baby, you can stay here or you can take that happy baby. So grabbing the outer edges of the feet and lifting the feet to the sky, keeping the bend in the knees. So we want to kind of avoid, or we want to try here to lift the inner feet up, right? Seeing how much of your low back you can peel onto the mat. And then maybe swaying gently side to side. Maybe if you're called here too, you can straighten one leg, rebend it. Straighten the other leg, rebend. Straightening both legs, right? Feeling into what feels good for you. Nice, and from here we have one pose before Shavasana. So we'll hug our knees into our chest. Let the feet come to the ground. And then if you're near a wall, you can do a legs up the wall. That'll show you in a second. If not, you can take a block underneath your sacrum, your low back, or even just your hands, and then just lift the feet up to the sky. If you're easily near a wall, you might want to do a legs up the wall. So for that, it's a little bit challenging with this radiator, but we can still do it, right? So move these little like balls to the side. And then just start to come in close as you can. And then just lift the legs so that the heels are up and relax back. And this is perfect. You can get your bum a little closer on a different type of wall. And to do that, I often recommend people come up to it to the side, right? Get really as close as you can. And then ease down and start to lift the legs up that way. All right, so those are just a couple options. If you want a shoulder stand here, you can take a shoulder stand. Wherever you end up, just going to be here, right? Be here feeling the sensation of feeling the blood rushing away from the feet. Feeling your breath, your body, and continuing to allow the mind to settle, to relax. Stay here as long as you like, or when you're ready, we're coming to Shavasana. So if you want to head to your bed for Shavasana, this is a wonderful, wonderful time to do so. So get really comfy. Something in Shavasana that I love to do is to give myself support underneath the knees. And so oftentimes I'll take a blanket or even sometimes blocks and kind of roll it up. A pillow works. And just bring it underneath the knees. Okay? And that helps a lot with the low back. So we'll bring our feet apart, let the toes fall away from each other. Bring the arms by the side, palms face up. And once again, we'll press and lift the heart, roll the shoulders underneath, and then settle everything back down, right? Finding length in the neck, space between the arms and the body. If there's things in your way, kick them out. Fully let yourself relax into this moment, into this mat. And let your body rest. And finding as much heaviness, as much groundedness, relaxation as you can. Finding yourself fully present here and now. Shavasana. Feel free to stay here in Shavasana for as long as you would like. When you do feel ready to come out, just rock over into fetal pose. And maybe you press up to a seat, or maybe you're perfectly prepared for bed. Wherever you are in your practice, just bring your palms to touch in front of the heart. Thank you for practicing, for tuning in, for watching. We'll see you next time. As you inhale, lift the thumbs to the third eye. If you're seated, as we exhale, we'll bow together and we'll all say, Namaste. Thanks for watching.